Think I'm on. All right, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night. Principled Chiro broadcast from DE and Band of Brothers. Let's see, what do we have coming up? We have August 11th to 14th. I'm sure she'll flash up the screen, but there it is. August 11th to 14th in Atlanta, 13th, 16th in Atlanta. And then if you see this, I don't know if this has been announced yet, but January will be in Clearwater. We switched that. And then the April one will be back in Sarasota at the same hotel. So we are excited about that. So we'll have 2 in a row in Florida and then 2 in Atlanta. That might be the way it goes now. We'll see. But that's what we're trying for this one. So hang tight. And please join us in August, man. That's always a great event. So this week we have a kind of special one for me because this girl has been in our office for 10 years now, working next to me. Absolutely has, if anybody knows her, to see the growth from where she was to where she is now, it's just simply amazing. It's fun to watch her, find the right place to work, and then the right guy, and then have a daughter, and then buy the house, or maybe that was in the opposite order, and then just watch her. She's just meticulous about planning what she's going to do and that her next project, and it's just great to have in the office. Amazing. Definitely more referrals to her than me now. After I've been there 25 years and her being there just 10, she's an absolute rock star and a stud to be working with and next to, and I'm just so happy to have her in the office. So, without further ado, Rebecca Lapham Yaun. I still like calling Dr. Lapham, but Dr. Rebecca Yaun, who also is a kick-ass. I have to mention that. What do you call it? Professor at Life University, and it's amazing what Bree's students tell us about how incredible she is as a professor. So let's go ahead and let Dr. Rebecca take it away. Thank you so much for doing this, girl.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me tonight. Like Dr. Brian said, I have been serving with him in Rome for the past 10 years. And so that makes that I have been at DE now for 10 years, going almost 4 times a year. I think I have missed 1 DE in these 10 years. And then on top of that, I've been a professor at Life for 9 years. And I can't tell you how much DE has helped me. And how every single time I go, I will grow more. And there's always a message that every single time I go, I need to hear, because in that quarter, that where I'm at that time, something needs to change and I need to grow more. So most people don't know. I think we all have a story. I thought I should be an optometrist. I started working for someone when I was 15. I thought the eyes were a very, very interesting field. And so I asked him at 15 years old if I could work in his office. But luckily, this mentor that I had, Dr. Griggs, he told me I should not go to optometry school. He said, "You're made for something more than this." And at the time, I didn't know that what he was telling me was probably the greatest thing that he ever did for me, because he changed the course of where I thought my life was going. So because he said that, I stepped back. I turned down my scholarship to go to optometry school at his alma mater, and I took a year off from graduating from Chowan with my undergraduate degree of biology. And I was I can remember sitting with my mom up in the hospital, and she was a nurse, and she's been a cardiovascular nurse for almost 30 some odd years. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it was the cardiologist my mom was working for at the time, Dr. Crawford, who said, well, you don't like medicine. You have never been big on taking a pill. You don't like the side effects that go along with this. I've seen you grow up through the years, and I've heard, where you stand in this medicine, and that you didn't like it. He said, so he suggested chiropractic. And I can tell you, at this time, being 22 years old, I had never seen a chiropractor day in my life. From what I understood way back then was you only go to someone when you were in pain or you needed help. And at this point in time, I hadn't done anything to think that I needed to go see him. So I asked him, I said, well, who would you recommend I go shadow? And he said, go see Dr. Hilton. So in Hickory, North Carolina, I called Dr. Hilton that Thursday and he said, come to my office on Friday. And I just looked at my mom. I said, well, it can't hurt. So I went and I remember walking into his office and it looked like a very normal kind of medical office. People were kind of grouchy, just gloomy looking, and you could just tell that they didn't want to be there. But yet, when I went back and I shadowed him for that morning and watched him put his hands on 90 people, I saw a spark or a change within these people. And I couldn't understand that he was laying their hands on them. And these people who were grumpy and kind of soured faced when they walked in were leaving with this lightness to them, a brightness to them. And you could just tell their energy was switched. And so after that day, after that morning shift, he said, so what did you think? And I said, how are you laying your hands on someone that seems so simple? And it's like you turn them on. You have changed their outcome from what they were just a few minutes ago. And Dr. Hilton, luckily, he said, do you believe that the body heals and adapts the way it's supposed to? Or do you think that we're designed and we just break down and that's it? And I went, well, no. He goes, well, chiropractic, our role, our job is to connect the person to their innate intelligence within, to the source within that heals and, lets them adapt and survive. And what he said right there was probably the biggest thing that I ever got was, here's what I've been looking for. Here's this medicine, or what I, thought I knew of medicine, was within the power within their body. They could heal and operate. My job was just to connect it back to source. And luckily, the most powerful thing he did after that is he said, here, go home and read this. And he handed me a green book. And he told me to read the story of the bigness of the fellow within. He said, go home and read this. And if this gels with you, then come back to me on Monday. So here I go home with the green book and I read the bigness of the fellow within. That's something. And I read that whole thing about that innate, that something within, and you followed it and how it changed in that story, his outcome. And so, I showed my mom, and my mom, if you never knew, my mom is my biggest influence. Being a nurse, we didn't run to the medical office when something was going on. My mom believed that the body healed and it could adapt, and it, unless we were sick, almost dying, she didn't take us to the hospital and she didn't take us to an MD. She would let the body kind of heal itself. And then if we needed something, she would help us. But for the most part, you had to be dying and bleeding out before she took us to the hospital. So I have her to thank to see that this was what medicine was in our family. Like, this is what health was. She told me and taught me the body responds certain ways. Fevers are good. So I had that mentality in my head. So I told mom, I said, I think I like this. So I went back to his office on Monday. And he said, so what do you think? And I said, I want to do this. And I said, so where do I go? And he only named two schools, Sherman and Life. And from me being from Hickory, North Carolina, I didn't really want to live in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Sorry, Sherman, you're a wonderful school, but I wanted to experience a bigger city. So Life is where my course took me. And so with having my biology background, I was accepted right in. So I applied. Within a week, I got in. So fast forward this to January, my mom, dad, and me go down and we tour Life. And I've always just kind of knew when something's right, it just felt right. So when we toured Life University, and I sat in on a class, and it happened to be Dr. Linda Mullen's class. I was blown away by what she was talking about. And it was a Gonstead lab that I had actually walked through at the time. And I looked at my mom. I said, this just feels like my undergrad. This feels like home. This is where I'm supposed to be. So that started my chiropractic journey. When I was in school, I was focused on learning. I, went to clubs. I was a student instructor, SI instructor. So I taught in the labs. Anything I could get my hands into learning the body and how it functioned, I did it. Brian will tell you I'm a nerd. I really like the anatomy and physiology. That stuff really, my brain triggers and I listen. And it wasn't until after I graduated, when I was searching for a place to be, that I started understanding more of the Green Book and the philosophy of it. I understood the anatomy, I understood limited matter, I understood subluxation, but it's when I was in Brian's office, and I remember I brought my mom because I literally had gone through two bad associate positions. And when I was sitting in Brian's office, watching them walk, like adjust, his office was my dream. And I said, I always listened to my gut, and my gut told me his office is where I needed to be. It's where I would grow the most. This was what I had seen, envisioned for my life. So, like he says, I stayed on him and I kept bugging him and bugging him. I think I even had some friends who were going to D at the time, Allie and Johnny, go up to him and say, hey, give Rebecca a shot. And he did. And I'm so thankful because that changed the outcome of my life. The first DE I went to, you heard all these speakers, Pete Amlinger, Judson, Mike O'Halloran, and they just gave you these principles and they gave you guidelines that changed the outcome of my life. Like he said, I'm a planner. Every single thing in my life, someone at DE said, do it, right? So, how do you find a spouse? Write it down. That was from Judson. I did every single thing that I wanted to find in someone. I wrote it down, just like he said, and I met someone. What's your dream? What's your vision? Everything they said to do, I did. So if you find that you're stuck, I'm going to tell you, listen to what these people who have already had success, they've paved the way. Listen to them. Don't reinvent the wheel. And so I followed that. And I can tell you in 10 years, it has helped me get the confidence. It has helped me grow into who I am right now as a chiropractor. And stepping into Dr. Brian's office, and Dr. Pat McCarver was there. These are two phenomenal chiropractors. And I had to figure out, how am I going to step in and become me and become a strong chiropractor to live up to them. They have huge shoes. But one thing I realized is I'm not going to be a Brian Lieberman and I'm not going to be a Pat McCarver. I can be who I'm supposed to be, and that's Dr. Rebecca in their office. And I had to find my path of what was my strength, what could I give to the Rome community. And, Brian and Pat were always there, and Rachel, encouraging me. And when I slipped, they checked me and they were my anchor. And, just when I thought like like I said before, I thought I reached this milestone, he's like, no, dream bigger, push further. And so leading up to this last DE, Saturdays in our office have just become, it is jam packed from 9 in the morning until 12 o'clock. And before this last DE, I think that Saturday I had seen like 130 in 3 hours. And when I tell you, like I looked at Brian, I said, my anxiety level, my stress is just at the max. Like I can't keep doing this. And I said, I need DE. It's time to go back. And what I realized when I was at this last DE is it kind of changed my outlook on why I felt the way I did, being stressed at 130. It's a blessing that 130 people want to come into our office on a Saturday knowing they're going to wait, but they're happy to wait. And the love and the atmosphere that you hear these families, and they talk about chiropractic and the blessing that they receive from us giving an adjustment. I should be so humbled. And I'm blessed that these people want to see me on a Saturday morning. And why was I feeling the way I was feeling? And so the last DE, what really kind of got me is a Facebook message came up. Sorry, I have cats that are running around crazy right now. And it said, stop wishing for it and start working for it. So it was just something I put down. It said, stop wishing for something and start working for it. And I think it was Mike O'Halloran that was talking, and he was talking about his preparation. What is he doing in the morning to get ready to go be that 800 a week, 1,000 a week chiropractor, whatever you're going to be? And he said, you have to have preparation. Preparation is key. And so while I was sitting there, innate just landed on me, and two things came to mind. I am not physically or mentally prepared to continue at that level because I was living in comfort. I was living at ease. And like Dr. Away says, comfort sucks. So part of my mindset that really changed this last DE is, what am I doing? What is my preparation so I can be that 500-week chiropractor? Because that was my next goal. Like, I want to be a 500-week chiropractor. It's fine for me to say that, but am I literally living up to what I'm trying to be? And so, I say, let's plan it. And I am a planner. And I looked at Brian when we got back and I said, I think it was Dr. Eddie Martinez that said he saw a picture of himself and he goes, I'm a fat ass. And I was like, that's how I feel. I am not living up to the potential that I'm designed to be. It's time that I get off my butt. And it's time that I practice what I preach, and it's what I tell my patients. So seeing Judson, seeing these people changing their lives, getting up, exercising, changing how you're eating, that's what this next 10 weeks was going to be for me. What's my preparation? How am I supposed to be a 500-week chiropractor? So I sat down and I wrote out my goals. And what was my work? How do I become that? And it was, what does a 500-week chiropractor feel like? What does it sound like? What's my energy level got to be vibrating at? How is my attitude coming into the office every day? And am I coming home and I'm so tired because I'm not prepared? You can't say you want to see 1,000 a week and then sit on your butt when you come home. So part of that change for me was getting back into the gym, getting stronger, being able to take care of 500 a week and not being so exhausted at the end of the day. Yes, it's wonderful seeing how many we do, but can I physically do it? And so when I got back home, I told Brian, I told Rachel, I said, I need accountability. I need to be back in the gym. I'm going 3 days a week. I'm making changes. So it just so happened right before going to this DE, and ate on a Sunday night, said, that's it. No more caffeine. Give it up. I was picking up more and more soft drinks, and that's not health. You can't tell someone you're going to be healthy and you're going to change your community when you're at home doing things you're not supposed to do. So I cut it out. Like that Saturday, that Sunday, I was done. And now Brian will tell you, Monday was rough for me. He said it looked like I got hit by a baseball bat because I had the headache and I was going through the sugar withdrawal. But I stuck to it and I haven't picked one back up since then. It's been 4 months since I've had any caffeine whatsoever. But that was the starting point of innate dropping it on me and saying, it's time to change. It's time to put up or shut up at this point in time. And I'm ready to be a 500-week chiropractor. I'm ready to step up. I'm ready to turn the crank. So these past 6 weeks, I've been going to the gym 3 days a week. I pack my bag. Even when I'm at school teaching, I would go straight from a class. I would have a 2-hour break. I would go work out, and then I would shower, change, get back into classes and teach this next generation. And I was sitting there telling my students, if you want to see masses, you want to see the community, you want to see change, you are the change. So make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can take care of others, because Dr. Brian's running circles around me in the office and I'm 10 years younger. There's an issue here, right? And Dr. Paula, all these people that have been in practice for 40, 50 years are killing it. And some of us young ones are going, oh, my back hurts or my shoulder hurts. Well, that's on us. It's time to step up. It is, I feel like it's time for us, this group, to step up. They keep asking us for the next leaders. And I can say that I like to stand in the corner. I like to stand in the shadows some, because I'll say, he's the A squad, I'm the B squad. Well, that's bullshit. Um, I was designed to serve big, not to serve small. And I would never tell my daughter, Tegan, to serve small, to serve in fear. And so if we're going to make the change that Dr. Sid Williams is asking us to do to change this community, step up and serve big. And so I'm speaking to myself, it's time to get to that point where I can speak the message. I can walk the walk and do the talk, not from an ego standpoint, but because I am disciplined and I have the preparation that the mentors at DE have told us to do. They have not told us to reinvent this wheel. They're telling you what to do to be successful. And so this last DE, I just I stepped back and I said, you know what? No more living in the shadow, no more living in fear. If I'm going to teach the next generation, I'm going to do it by example. And I feel like if you're going to step into more of a leadership role, the more of a servant you're going to have to become. And I've realized, Brian, he pushes me hard to always step up and to give the best I can, because to serve at half capacity is not doing anything for my community, and it's doing nothing for chiropractic. And what type of example am I leading for my daughter? So this past, I can say 6 weeks, I've given everything I have. No matter if I'm in the classroom, if I'm in the office, if I'm in the gym, I'm giving what's been asked of me. And so, yes, it's been 6 weeks. Yes, I've lost 8 pounds. Yes, I've changed things, but this is not just an overnight change. This is a lifestyle that I want to give because I want my daughter to see I'm trying to be the best me for her, for my husband, for my community, and for the students I teach, because I want their life to just be as abundant as what my past 10 years has become. And so, I just want to say, thank you to those people who sometimes call us out, push us forward, because they see in us what we could be, and we need them to pull us out. And I can tell you, I don't ever want to be in the speaker role, but lately more and more, it's asked of me. And so I feel like if they're asking us to do it, then it's time. And so, I do continuing ed. Brian will ask me to do these talks. And of course, like I fight tooth and nail to do it because I feel like I don't have anything to give, but I do because DE has changed me in 10 years. It has given me my life. And I want to continue to grow and to watch what is this next 30 years in practice going to be. Yes, Bree's in school and Morgan's in school and my niece is about to start. So there's another generation coming right behind me. And I hope that they get out and they're successful from the start and they don't have to have any of um, the path that I took, working with two crappy chiropractors who knew nothing about chiropractic, and who were giving our profession a bad name. I want those guys gone. I only want the amazing chiropractors of DE, principled, who are changing lives. And when I have to go find someone for my patients, I find principled people. I don't want to have to no longer look at their, websites and see, okay, 100,000 decompression tables, but nothing about the techniques they're serving. So part of my job, I feel like teaching, and even though I'm ready to step away from teaching, it's not my time. It's my time to stay where I'm at life, and continue to show what technique is, the different type of techniques and how it affects people, and that there's not one size technique that fits all. Everybody is different, and it's our job to figure out what technique does that person in front of me need. And so I'm going to just keep plugging away and keep growing, and changing who I am to become better so I'm stronger for my community. And so, Brian doesn't have to keep kicking me in my butt and telling me, step forward more. I'm stepping forward as a leader, as a servant, just to truly serve more in our community and to serve chiropractic more and where I need it. And so I'm just going to continue to keep myself open, listen to innate, listen to when people ask me to serve. And if it feels congruent with the principle of chiropractic, congruent with my life and the plan that I have going forward, then I'm going to do it. And so I feel like some of us, especially that are kind of our 30s and our 40s, we feel like, we're not the leaders. I always do when someone asks me my opinion or how can I grow this? I'm like, why are you asking me that question? Or they're asking me that question because I'm a part of a phenomenal office that has been successful for 24 years. Why shouldn't they ask me? Because I've had leaders like Dr. Brian who have loved on me and given me encouragement that it's time I start giving someone else. And so my next outcome is to continue to surround myself with people that are at a higher energy than I am right now. They're vibrating at the 700 mark on their own, because I'm ready to continue to grow. Our office is just continuing to burst out of the seams, and it's amazing. I told Brian just before 2 weeks ago in practice, someone texted me and they're like, I'm closing my office because nobody's coming in. And he goes, "You're having that issue too." And I'm like, "No, we're seeing 130, and I have a waiting room full of 25, 30 people that are all just sitting there talking, loving our atmosphere in the office because it is welcoming and loving and it's family oriented, and they understand the importance of chiropractic, nothing else. They understand that my job is to be a chiropractor and connect them, and I'm going to love on them and I'm going to appreciate who they are. And then I hope they go out in our community and make a bigger change." And so to this chiropractor that texted me that, I said, "So, what are you doing?" And he goes, "What do you mean? What am I doing?" And I said, "Are you out in your community? Are you doing any marketing? Are you just sitting in your office and poor me syndrome? Then yes, you're going to fail because, it's not going to be like Dr. Thompson said, you don't put your shingle up and then people are just going to walk to your door. You're going to have to go out and do your work. When you graduate, that's when the work begins." That's what he said in this talk. Dr. Thompson did. He goes, "Now the work begins. Put your head down and get grinding. Turn the crank at every time." So my job right now is to become the 500-week chiropractor and then go to a 600-week chiropractor and continue to have a strong team that just supports me every single day, which we do in our office. Luckily, I have Dr. Brian, who will never let me step back and become a weak chiropractor because he'll put his foot up my butt. But he's going to encourage me to step up and continue to be a leader. So some of you who are at that point where I am, it's time that you step up. I'm going to call you out a little bit like they call me out. Where's our next servants? Where's our next leadership that is going to continue to support what Judson and Eddie and Pete and Drew and Dr. Brian are doing? We are in practice helping, but there's more that we could be doing. And I'm talking to myself. I need to be helping out the GCC. It's something I haven't done. And it's something that I feel like is being pulled at me that I need to step in and help some. Yes, I'm giving at life, but it's time that I give to the GCC and to Georgia. So that's one of my next goals is to step in a little bit more there and to continue to help out. But if we're not helping out our organizations and the same 10 people are showing up, we're doing a disservice. So please step up to your organizations because they do need us to help. And I promise that to Brian is I will be there more for GCC because it's time. And then I need to step up more to my students and encourage them to become part of GCC and DE. Because normally I'm a quiet person. If they ask where I go, I tell them, but I don't put it out there all the time. And so I'm going to change my outlook and my attitude and encourage more and more students to come and sit and listen and get into the principles. So when they get out, they're not lost. They're grounded and anchored to the message that Dr. Sid gave us. So I guess this entire talk was me, what's your next plan? How do you become whatever chiropractor you're trying to be? If it's a 100-week chiropractor or 300-week chiropractor, what does it look like? What does it sound like? And are you physically ready to be that person? Because if you're, like they say, go home and you turn on the TV and that's what you're doing, are you truly going to be able to be that 300-week chiropractor? So thank you for this last DE. Thank you for making me realize that, 130 caused me anxiety because I wasn't serving at 130 capacity. My fitness level, my mentality wasn't there. And that's something I've been working on. I'm trying to practice what I preach now. And it's to make me the vessel that I'm designed to be, to serve God through chiropractic and to serve my community. And I had to be stronger to be able to continue on that pathway and to step up. So that's what I had to share tonight. I hope something I said maybe sparked you, and I'm here to serve any way I can.
Oh, I couldn't be any more proud. I hate using the word proud because it sounds like. Uh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it sounds like I'm there's an above or something that, but just I couldn't be any more proud of just who you are and what you've done. I want to tell everybody that that last text you sent me last night is you saw 132 four people at doctor's support and one new patient, and that was with you and an intern, and that is amazing. There's our intern right there, Vanessa, sending love. I love you, girl. I couldn't be any more thankful that you're with me. What a incredible ride it has been, and it's only just begun. And I'm so thankful for you. I love you, and everybody go out there and if you take 50% of what she said, your life will change dramatically. So I love you, girl. I'll talk to you. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Bye, everybody. Have a great night. See you next week.